That one is
Alright.
the one like it was
Menstruation
15 points.
and follicular development.
I took it off completely. Like
This whole process is dependent on the series of hormones that are released into the body over time. This takes many days. It's about 28 per cycle. Now, where we start off is with a small increase of FSH, which is follicle stimulating hormone. What this is going to do is that's going to inspire the development of follicles. And now, what exactly are follicles? Follicles are sort of specialized group of cells. These are going to be eventually sex cells. And what you have is a oocyte, which is surrounded by, initially, before their development, by a sort of group of just generic cells. Now what happens is, the development happens in stages. What we have over here is our primordial follicle. Now, a group of these primordial follicles are going to be selected at random, but we're only going to follow one for now, to start this follicular development. And what happens is, in the first stage, we have our primary follicle. Simple as just one oocyte surrounded by many, yet generic cells, which are going to eventually develop into the secondary follicle. Now, what happens here is that in the secondary follicle, let me mark a second. In the secondary follicle, we're going to have a sort of separation and distinction of cells that are in the follicle. We're going to have an outer and separated group called the fecal cells. Excuse my handwriting, it's a little hard to read from out there. And then we're going to have a group of cells close to the oocyte, known as our granulosa cells. Now, this is going to begin to develop gradually more and more. This large sac over here is going to be filled with fluid, and this portion here is our tertiary follicle. Now, as the days progress, at the tertiary area, we reach the around days 10 to 12. What's going to happen is a luteinizing hormone spike. Now, what this luteinizing hormone spike is going to do is going to inspire the, I don't want to say creation of, but the formation of the corpus luteum. See over here. Now, over here is actually where ovulation is going to start to occur. Where we're going to have the oocyte, which was surrounded by those granulosa cells, and sort of leak, so to speak, out from its surrounding fecal cells into the oviduct. And in accordance with our LH over here, we're going to have our corpus luteum. Corpus luteum is very important in the maintenance of our endothelial layer as a result of the hormone that it produces, which is progesterone. Progesterone is a hormone that's actually going to be from the corpus luteum. Mind you, quick note, we have blood vessels in here inside of the ovary, which are actually going to be collecting these hormones and then distributing them through the through the oviduct into the uterus. And as I was saying, what progesterone is going to be doing is that it's going to be inhibiting or suppressing, which would be more appropriate to say, the secretion of FSH and LH. This is sort of where follicular development sort of stops. The follicle as a whole stops, but we still have the corpus luteum, which is going to be secreting progesterone, and we're going to have and that's going to eventually, over the days, sort of break down due to the lack of presence of the luteinizing hormone all day into the corpus albicans. Finally, gradually over time, we see when pregnancy doesn't occur, our progesterone levels are going to start declining again, and all of our hormonal levels sort of just fall back to normal. So before this, you can see how progesterone aligns with the thickening of the endothelial layer. What's important to keep in mind is that progesterone is actually going to, along with estrogen, even though it's not very high levels, it's excreted a little bit by our corpus luteum. And what's happening here is that your endothelial layer is thickening, and this is because we start having blood vessels become expressed. We have an increase in production of mucus in the endothelium, and if pregnancy doesn't occur, this is all going to break down as our hormonal levels return to normal, or actually more properly said, the start of another menstrual phase.